Chapter 682. Stage Plight. Note: this takes place before Space Invader. ******. At Royal Woods High School, Lewin goes to her locker, opens it, looks in the mirror inside and sees Eddie getting stuff from his locker. She stares at him with a passionate look. Mr. Coconuts. Hey, who's the dreamboat? Toots? You're looking at him the way I look at a fresh coat of varnish. Lewin, covering his mouth shh. That's Eddie, the boy I've been telling you about. He just moved here from Peach Creek. But it's hopeless. How can I get to know him better if we never spend any time together? Mr. Coconuts, I may be a dummy, but it seems to me if you want to spend some time with him, try talking, not gawking. Lewin, I know, but the only class we have together is advanced mime. I can't exactly talk to him then. See something, hold on. What's Eddie doing? Eddie signs a poster on the bulletin board and walks away. Lewin and Mr. Coconuts are watching from behind the lockers. Mr. Coconuts takes a look and gives a move out signal. They go up to the board to see what Benny did. Lewin, intrigued, auditions for the drama club production of Romeo and Juliet. Signs up. This is perfect. If Eddie and I both get cast, I'll finally be able to spend time with him. Mr. Coconuts chatters his teeth and winks at Lewin. Mr. Coconuts, I'm sorry it didn't work out with you and that Benny kid. Lewin, don't remind me. Flashback. Lewin was in her room crying her eyes out. I heard her crying and came in. Me, Lewin, what's wrong? I go over and sit by her. Lewin, crying, nothing JD. Me, Lewin, come on. You can tell me. Lewin, crying, oh, it's Benny. Me, what happened? Lewin, I caught him being with another girl. Me, gasp, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Lewin. Lewin's siblings came in and they heard us and were concerned. Me, Lewin, maybe he wasn't the right kind of boy for you. But there's still plenty of other fish in the sea. Flashback ends. At the auditions, Ruby is first. Ruby, like, to be, or like, not to be, that is like, the question. Spencer's turn. Spencer, to thine own self be, checks his arm blue. No, wait. True. Eddie's turn. Eddie, a rose, by any other name, would smell as sweet. Off stage, Lewin is blissfully staring at her new crush, and sighing dreamily. Mr. Coconuts, bringing Lewin back to earth. Toots. Put your peepers back in your head. You're on. Lewin realizes whoops. She goes for her turn, and tosses Mr. Coconuts onto the director's chair, where he lands on a rather observant position. The next day at school, the results for the play are posted onto the bulletin board, and everyone is trying to see if they made the cut or not. Lewin and Mr. Coconuts are seen hiding behind a wall. Lewin, boo, there's the cast list. Moans in stress, what if I didn't make the cut? They all leave and half a second later, Lewin and Mr. Coconuts sneak up to the list. Lewin looks away, I'm too nervous to look. Mr. Coconuts looks at the list, relax, doll, you're in the play, and so is your fella. Lewin hugs Mr. Coconuts, squealing in excitement. Hey, save that drama for the stage. At the rehearsal, everyone is chatting, and Lewin walks up to Eddie. Lewin, oh, hey Eddie, I didn't know you were in the play. Eddie, hey Lewin, yet, looking at his scarf, I'm a Montague. Lewin, oh, points to her hat, and I'm a Capulet. Guess we're sworn enemies. Eddie and Lewin, pointing at each other with dirty looks. Hoo-hoo-hoo. They laugh, and smile at each other, when suddenly the lights in the auditorium go down. Mrs. Bernardo, off-screen and now thespians, nobody knows what is happening. Here's your drama teacher, Rex Hiccups, the two-time nominee for Royal Woods Dinner Theater's Best Director. Everyone is looking for where this is coming from, and Parvana points up. Mrs. Bernardo. Small applause. Eddie, did she just announce herself? Luan, it sure looks that way. Mrs. Bernardo, stop it. You're too kind. Chuckles and claps gather round. Children, gather. I am so thrilled to be helming this production of Romeo and Juliet. Now, Capulets, I want you stage left, Montags, stage right. You will be rehearsing separately. Luan, what? Why? Looks at Eddie, I mean. Is that really necessary? Mrs. Bernardo, yes. It'll enhance the dramatic tension. Remember, these families hate each other. Chuckles again. Everyone heads over to the assigned group. Eddie shrugs and waves to Luan as he walks to his group. Luan waves back, and is now bummed. Luan groans, this is not gonna work for me. Later, everyone is doing vocal warm-ups and Luan seems bored. Mrs. Bernardo, clapping, okay everyone, good vocal warm-up. Let's take 5, and then we'll dive into the text. Luan comes up to Shannon, hey, Shannon, would you mind switching with me? I can't be a Capulet, I'm, allergic to hats, they make my head swell up, and then I can't get the hat off, it's a vicious cycle. Shannon gasps, that sounds awful, of course I'll switch. But then realizes, ooh, wait, I can't be a Capulet if my arch nemesis Amy is. Points to Amy. Luan, oh, okay, hang on. Goes to Amy, hey, Amy, how'd you like to be a Montague? Amy, a what? Sure, wait F, but only if my boyfriend Rex can be one too. He kind of like, can't be without me. Meanwhile, Rex is standing right next to her, looking at Jackie, who winks at him. Amy grabs his arm and pulls him in. Luan, boo, okay, 1 second. Leaves while Amy gives Rex a dirty look, and he awkwardly smiles at her. Luan approaches Liberty. Hey Liberty, you know, you strike me as more of a Capulet, they're so much cooler. How'd you like to switch with Rex? Liberty, sure, but only if my BFF Leo can be a Capulet. Luan, not surprised, sighs, yup, I'm on it. Luan goes back to the Capulet side of the stage, and without saying anything, pushes one of the Capulets to the Montague side, and pushes Shannon to the Capulet side. Everyone switches sides of the stage, and trade hats and scarves. Mrs. Bernardo, thespians, assemble. Luan sighs with relief, and Eddie approaches her. Eddie, hey Luan, sees her scarf, so, you're a Montague now. Luan, yeah, Leo really wanted to be a Capulet. So what are you gonna do? Break the kid's heart. The next day. Mrs. Bernardo, welcome to day 2 of rehearsal. Now, we'll start with Act 1, Scene 5, better known as The Kiss, Romeo, Juliet, center stage, the rest of you, take 5. Claps. Everyone goes to take a seat, Luan goes to get her bag. Luan, come on, Mr. Coconuts, let's grab a seat next to see something. Hey. Shannon has one of the seats next to Eddie, and Leo and Liberty are about to take the other one. Go, Mr. Coconuts. Throws him into the seat. Leo, who just sat down, jumps into Liberty's arms, and they fall over off screen. Luan nonchalantly sits next to Eddie. Oh, hey Eddie, did you see last night's episode of The Real Mimes of Miami? Eddie, yet. I really felt for Magda when she was trying to order a pizza over the phone. Luan, mime life. Am I right? Just then, Benny's stomach grumbles, making him blush, and the two of them laugh. Luan pulls a banana out of her bag. Here, your stomach might find this appealing. Eddie laughs, thanks, a bunch. Luan laughs, good one. Back at the stage, Spencer and Ruby are about to do the scene. Mrs. Bernardo, A&D. Action. Goes off stage, moving her arms in a waving motion. Ruby, like, saints do not, like, move, though grant for, like, prayer's sake. Spencer, then move not stops and looks at his arm. Hang on. Mrs. Bernardo can't believe this. While my prayers affect I fake. No, wait, that's take, not fake. Mrs. Bernardo, no, this is all wrong, I'm just not feeling it. She then notices how good Eddie and Lewin are at making themselves, and each other laugh. Eddie has the banana peel on his head and is doing a monkey face for Lewin, who is blushing, and laughs so much she snorts, and covers her mouth in embarrassment. The two continue to laugh, and Mrs. Bernardo gets an idea. Ruby, Spencer, this is the hardest part of any director's job, but I've decided to go another way with my Romeo and Juliet. Don't be discouraged if you keep working your craft. Ruby, not discouraged at all, so, holds up the script I don't have to memorize. Any more of this? Mrs. Bernardo nods. Spencer sighs with relief and pulls up his shirt, revealing smeared ink. I sweated off the rest of my lines in gym class. He and Ruby leave. Mrs. Bernardo, fear not, thespians, the show will go on. The perfect Romeo and Juliet have been with us all along, jumps off the stage to the pair she has in mind. Eddie and Lewin. They gasp at this. I've been watching you too, and I know you are going to be wonderful. Brings them close, almost choking them, and they look at each other, blushing. Mrs. Bernardo pushes them towards center stage. Now, Romeo and Juliet, let's pick up where we left off, the kiss. Goes off stage, moving her arms in a waving motion. Lewin realizes something, and gets nervous. The kiss? Oh, I just remembered, I have an orthodontist appointment today, gotta get the old braces tightened, otherwise this'll be Romeo and Juliet. Awkwardly laughs as she makes a run for it. At home, Lewin is laying in her bed. Mr. Coconuts, hey, what happened back there, doll? You and the hunk make a great Romeo and Juliet. Isn't that everything you wanted? Lewin, yeah, but we have to kiss. Mr. Coconuts, so. Lewin sits up on her bed. I've never kissed anyone before. I bet everyone else in my class has, including Eddie. What if I'm bad at it, and he thinks I'm lame? Mr. Coconuts, you're overthinking it, doll. You will be fine. It's just a smooch. There's nothing to it. Lewin, maybe you're right, Mr. Coconuts. Mr. Coconuts, I know I'm right. You can do this. Lewin smiles at Mr. Coconuts. I came in. Me, Lewin? Are you feeling better now? Lewin, yeah, I'm doing okay. But I'm nervous about Eddie. I want to share my feelings with him, but I don't know what to do. I sit by her on her bed. Me, oh, you're just nervous, Lewin. You've got butterflies in your tummy. This is perfectly normal when it comes to these things. You just need to find the right time, and that time will come to you. Lewin, really? Me, sure. At the next rehearsal, they are trying to practice the kiss again. Eddie, then move not, while my prayers effect I take. Leans in to kiss Lewin. Lewin's thoughts, I can't do this. Lewin, time out. I need a pee break. I really hit the old OJ hard this morning. Leaves, and returns later. Sorry, I'm ready to go. Suddenly, one of the sandbags falls from the rafters, right in front of Shannon, who yelps. Leo looks up and jumps into Liberty's arms again just before one hits him, and Parvana immediately dodges another one. Mrs. Bernardo, Gadzooks. Which is also the name of my one-woman show. Rehearsals cancelled until I can get the janitor to fix this safety hazard. Leaves to get the janitor. Lewin, shucks. No rehearsal? So, awkwardly walks away, while holding a pair of scissors behind her back. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Runs off, almost dropping her scissors, which she places in her bag, much to Mr. Coconut's discomfort. Mr. Coconuts, Ouch. Watch it, toots. The next rehearsal. Mrs. Bernardo rides in on a rolling trellis once more onto the breach. Dear thespians, which is theater talk for? Let's try that kissing scene again. Luan, off stage. Come on Luan, it's just a kiss. You got this. Walks onto the stage with confidence, but as soon as she sees Benny, and he smiles at her, it all goes away. Luan's thoughts, boo, oh no you don't. Luan pulls out a banana peel, and casually throws it onto her path. Hey everybody, can't wait to rehearse. Steps and slips on the peel. Whoa. Falls onto the stage. Mrs. Bernardo and Benny check on her. Mrs. Bernardo, heavens, my dear girl. Are you okay? Luan, oh, it's nothing. Probably just a slipped disc. No pun intended. Laughs out I mean, ow, ow, ow. Mrs. Bernardo, rehearsals cancelled for today. Luan, whew. The next day. Luan, off stage again. Okay, come on Luan, no more stall tactics. You have to do this. Mrs. Bernardo gets the thespians' attention. Comrades look to the skies. It's Mrs. Bernardo. Flies toward the stage with wires attached to her. Where's my Romeo? Where's my Juliet? Chop chop, it's kissing time. Luan, oh. Walks onto the stage and in front of Benny. Mrs. Bernardo, A&D. Action. Benny, then move not, while my prayers effect I take. Puckers his lips to kiss Luan. Luan gets a surge of anxiety as Benny moves closer, until... Luan, wait. I have an idea. Instead of a kiss, why doesn't Juliet, pulls out her phone, send Romeo a text. Mrs. Bernardo, a text. Luan, yet. I think a kissy emoji and a heart would really get the message across. Mrs. Bernardo, irate. Luan, what are you suggesting is? Luan gets nervous and Mrs. Bernardo is now ecstatic. Pure genius. A modern take on a classic, bravo. Prop department, flies away on the wires. I need cell phones for Romeo and Juliet, pronto. Luan looks at her phone, and then looks over to Eddie, giving him flirty eyes, and walks off. Eddie on the other hand, looks at the ground with a note of disappointment. At what is supposed to be the next rehearsal. Luan, hey, Mrs. Be ready for rehearsal. Been doing some thumb strengthening exercises for my big texting scene. Mrs. Bernardo, in despair. You've done them in vain. Rehearsals cancelled until I can find a new Romeo. Luan, guessed what? What happened to Eddie? Mrs. Bernardo, he up and quit. He suddenly remembered he has a conflict with chess club. Chess club. Pretends to faint check and mate. Wheels herself away on the trellis. I was a fool to leave the dinner theater circuit. Luan walks up to Mr. Coconuts, confused. This doesn't make any sense. Eddie isn't even in chess club. Later, she finds Eddie sitting on a bench. Luan, hi, Eddie. Joins him. Eddie, hey. Luan, I heard you quit the play. Eddie, yet. Luan, how come? Eddie, honestly Luan, because of you. It's clear you aren't comfortable with me playing Romeo. Luan, no. Just the opposite. Sighs, and looks away. The only reason I wanted to be in the play is so I could spend some time with you. Eddie, really? Then, why did you keep finding ways to avoid kissing me? Luan, oh, it's not you, it's... Never mind. Mr. Coconuts, she was nervous because she's never kissed anyone before. Luan, shocked. Mr. Coconuts. Mr. Coconuts, what? Someone's gotta say it. Luan nervously looks at Eddie, as he pulls out his own dummy, Edo. Edo, well, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Eddie's never kissed anyone either. Eddie, gasps Edo, you weren't supposed to tell. Edo shrugs. Mr. Coconuts, Well, I gotta say that's a load off. Lewin didn't want to embarrass herself in front of old Eddie boy. Just between you and me, she's sweet on the guy. Edo, laughs really? Edward rather fancies her as well. Mr. Coconuts, with Lewin's voice he does. Lewin, starts blushing you do. Eddie nods, and starts blushing himself. The two gaze at each other sheepishly, they laugh, and then kiss. Mr. Coconuts and Edo wink at each other and shake hands. The next scene is in the theater where the play has ended. Everyone applauds and Lewin and Eddie thank the audience. Me, bravo guys. Bravo. Very, that was a magnificent performance. Lainey, that was the most awesome play. Lily, it sure was. Mr. Coconuts, well, Edo, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Lola, hears that, and gasps with fear. Who said that? I noticed a budding romance between Eddie and Lewin right away. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. Stage Plight was an adorable episode that aired last month. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. There wasn't that much to edit in this one because it mostly centered around Lewin and Eddie. But I hope this answers all your questions about how Eddie and Lewin's romance kicked off. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.